Welcome students to the next series of JCE content where I'm dealing with motor drives, right? Some applications. In last video I had dealt with the textile industry applications. Today we are going to see the drive considerations for crane and hoist, right? So starting with the requirements for cranes and hoists, right? So the requirements of the crane and hoist drives first we need to know, right? So first thing is the motion of the crane hook is in all three dimensions, right? Next, in the crane drives the acceleration and retardation must be uniform. So this is more important than the speed control, right? Third requirement, for exact positioning of the load, creep speeds, right, must be possible. The creep speeds, I told you, must be possible, right? What is meant by this creep speed? A very slow, constant, continuous, fixed rate of motion of the hoist, trolley or a bridge. Okay, right now we are talking about the hoist and the cranes, right? Usually established at 1% to 10% of the normal full load speed. Okay, this is defined as the creep speed. Okay, so as I said, a very low, slow, continuous and fixed rate motion. Okay, this is called as your creep speed. The steady braking possible. Okay, so understand that when the motion is in horizontal direction, braking is not a problem. Okay, so this is a problem, braking is a problem if the load overhauls the motor vertical motion. Okay, so in this case of vertical motion, the movement of the empty cage has to be carefully, right, has to be very careful, right? So the speed must be constant while lowering the loads, right? So that is why the steady braking of the motor against overhauling has to be possible. So this forms one of the important requirements for the motor drive which is to be used within the cranes or the hoists, right? So the next requirement is that the drive must have high speeds in both the directions, right? Also the motor must have high speeds at light loads, right? So next consideration is that mechanical braking must be able under emergency conditions, right? I hope you know what is meant by mechanical braking, right? So this has to be available under emergency conditions. Next point is power lowering in text. We all know what is meant by crane and hoist, right? So depending on the nature of duty they have to perform and the duty cycle, the crane and hoist drives are classified, right, as light duty or medium duty or heavy duty and continuous duty, right? 4 types of duty, right? So let me take you through the drive considerations for the motors for the cranes and hoists. So therefore the drive motor considerations for crane and hoist drives will do now, right? So the crane motors can either be DC or AC motors. Even though the electrical characteristics make DC motors suitable as the crane motors, the lower inertia and simple economical construction of cage motors favor them as crane motors. So with the advent of thyristors and associated power converters, it is possible to have torque control during starting, running and braking, right? So now we'll individually see the DC systems and the AC systems, right? So first dealing with the DC systems for cranes and hoist drives, right? So the speed control is achieved by means of Ward-Leonard method, right? So to recall, Ward-Leonard method is the method where we could achieve the speed control in both the directions, right, with the facilities of speed control, right, as it is said here, in forward and backward directions with regeneration. So among the DC motors, series motors are extremely suitable for the crane operation. So why I say that the series motor are suitable, right? Because first thing is they have very good starting torque, high torque, so as I said, they have a very good starting torque, high torque capability at low speeds, at lighter torques, at high speeds. The second point is electrical braking is possible even at low speeds, right? Or what I say, the low critical speeds. Next point is very light conditions are not possible. What I mean is suitable changes may be made in the circuitry. I told you, if you see back to this slide, right, while explaining you the requirements, I had talked about the electronic circuitry required. So when we talk about the DC suitability of DC motors for the crane operation, suitable changes may be made in the circuitry to make it to run at low speeds and light load conditions. Okay, that is one more advantage here, right? The next point is the lowering speeds increase with the load and regenerative braking is not possible here to limit this speed. The speed of the empty cage can be limited by limiting the current to the full load value. So I hope you are understanding what I mean by this point. Okay, it says regenerative braking is not possible in this type to limit this speed, right? The speed of the empty cage can be limited only by limiting the current to the full load value. Okay. So however, the speed torque characteristics, when we talk for the DC motors which are to be used for the crane or the hoist applications, may be suitably modified to suit all the phases of the crane control. Okay, so we have seen different types of speed control, right? We have seen the voltage control method, speed control, using current control, right? We can control the speed. So any of these methods can be used. Next we'll go with the AC systems for cranes. So among AC motors, squirrel cage induction motors are normally used. Okay, squirrel cage motors are normally used since they have some of the features. Okay, these are the following features which I'll discuss now. First thing is, no speed control is required. Fine with this? No speed control is required. However, with the development of variable frequency converters, which solve the problems of speed control of induction motor, inverter fed motors are used in situations requiring wide range of speed control. Okay, the next feature is that they have fast acceleration and a fixed sequence of operation. The third feature is its regenerative braking, right? As I said, regenerative braking is not possible, so to have the control we need to control the current, the full load current. Okay, similarly I dealt with this part in DC systems, so similar is the thing for the AC systems. The main feature is that motor is very simple and robust. Okay, so when I talk about these features, these are not suitable when a large number of starlings and brakings are required, right? The starting torque up to 250% of the full load torque can be obtained. Okay, so non-uniform sequence of operation cannot be handled, right? So we need to go for the conventional methods of speed control, right, when we are using the AC system, right, and are not suitable if precise speed control is required. Okay, now when I say that we need to go for conventional method of speed controls, we again have two types of motors. First one is slip ring and the second one is squirrel cage. Okay, so slip ring induction motors for the cranes and hoists have again some of the features which are extracted from the above one. Okay, first thing is the speed torque curve can be modified by suitably altering the rotor resistance. The starting torque can also be varied to the required value. Okay, so here regeneration is possible. Reverse current braking can be employed. Unlike my DC systems, here I can employ the reverse current braking, limiting the current to the desired value by the rotor resistance, right? Slip ring induction motors, we know there exists the rotor resistance. Okay, so DC dynamic braking can also be employed. While selecting a motor for the crane, duty of the some points are taken into considerations, such that breakdown torque must be greater than 250%. The inertia has to be taken such that inertia is small. Okay, right, this point I had discussed, right? Considerations I was talking. First thing is braking torque must be greater than 250%, I said. Okay, it means in the range of 275 to 300. Next is the inertia must be small. The next requirement for the consideration is it must withstand large frequency of starts. Next is the motor must have sufficient running torque, starting torque and terminal capability for the given duty cycle, right? And the main and important point here, while taking the considerations for the use of slip ring induction motors, is that the duty cycle must be specified. Okay, so with all these considerations, we go for the slip ring induction motors, the AC systems for the cranes. Okay, I hope I am clear with this. So for any doubts or clarifications, you can always get back to me, right? Thank you.